Brad is getting actually really good with that drone. So yesterday we took the day off. We just wanted to do non-car stuff for one day. So we went to a little adventure day and I was like, why don't we practice flying the drone? Because the weather's getting a lot nicer now, and with nicer weather we'll be able to use it a lot more often. Because I actually saw a comment like 2 or 3 videos ago, and it literally leads back to 2 or 3 videos ago where someone was like, hey man, you don't drive your cars in the videos as much as you used to. That same video I was talking about how the weather here in the winter is just like rain. So driving my car in the winter when it's cold, whatever, that's one thing. Everything I've been doing lately, I take it outside in the rain and it just, you can't really film it, you can't really go outside and film it. It's just kind of been miserable. That's why I haven't been outside as much as I wish I was. But the weather's getting a lot nicer and we're gonna be outside a lot more often now because you guys know I literally live to be out there. So yesterday we were practicing with the drone, trying to get ready for the nicer weather. And update on this thing, I did this on Instagram, I was showing you guys, but I'll give you guys a quick update here also. I put a couple tack welds in this plate that I took out, and then I put like a super adhesive sealer type thing. It's the stuff we use to hold the floorboards in the S10. So it's really good, it's never gonna come apart. Put that around the hole outside, and then I'm gonna paint this whole thing black, but I'm not gonna do that today, I'm gonna do that another day. I also added a couple extra supports because the side skirt was a little bit wiggly here, so that's all good. I would literally kill right now to put this thing on the road and go drive it home. We can't, because I told you guys this week we're gonna dedicate to the Opel, which when you look at it from far away, dude, this is a tiny little car. Like, it is so small, but look at this thing, dude. It is so tiny. First of all, when I was just rolling it around, what is that noise? Oh, I was like, dude, it's making the worst noise ever. What is that noise? The brake caliper is not even installed. All right, so that's good. That's not a main problem, I guess. I was like super worried something was gonna be extremely broken and my problem to fix. This looks a little bit bent, but I'm just gonna go with, we'll deal with that later. This is nice though, like this whole engine's been super cleaned up and it looks extremely good, which I like. So I put this guy on here backwards because the steering wheel is completely gone and it's like really hard to turn, so I just figured whatever, we'll just send it on backwards, deal with this. Well, we have it up on the lift. I told you guys last time that I think we were gonna start inside, but that was like kind of dumb when I was editing. I was like, I don't know why I said that. I think I was just nervous and like being like, we have a lot to work on. But I think what would make the absolute most sense for this is to start with the engine and try and get everything running, because if there's problems or there's engine issues, to address them now, order the parts and get the parts kind of coming in. The interior is simple, and even then if I leave a couple interior pieces, like Derek has the ability to fix those up. I guess first things first, we need to tear open these boxes, see what we're working with. Now we need to make a game plan. Alright, I wish I kind of had a better idea of what goes on this to-do list. I got all the parts opened. I tried to put on the table just a bunch of stuff like that was loose, like loose bolts, little buckets of hardware. All this stuff is literally just like labeled Ziplocs full of nuts and bolts and stuff. Being that it's 2020, and everybody that's like, you know, in my generation would be like, Robbie, why the hell do you have this Opel Manta owner's workshop manual or the service manual? Like, you're never gonna use those. Except that there's like none of these cars around, and finding this information on Google is extremely tough. So I very well may have to go back to the old days and read things out of a book, which I know some of you guys probably still do, but I've never done it before. Game plan for this, we're gonna start with the engine, and I'm gonna say assembly will come first, as in everything that I can see that physically bolts up into here, we bolt up, and then we'll do plumbing, all the oil lines, coolant lines, all that kind of stuff. Then we'll do the wiring, which I'm not excited about. Then we can do the drivetrain, the drive shaft, transmission bracket, and then we're gonna try and start it. So once it starts, then we need to do the steering wheel, we need to do the wiring, we need to do the what was I writing? We need to do the dash, we need to do seat, we need to do speakers, we need to do glass. And that's just what I know of, just from like the little bit I do know of what needs to get done. Now, obviously there's gonna be a lot more, but this is gonna kind of keep me on track as to the order of which I wanna do things in. I hope that's gonna help me a little bit. Today's goal is to get as much of this engine kind of done as possible. Hopefully we don't need to get too many pieces. Hopefully we have most of the stuff already. And what I'm basically gonna do is there's some photos like this, which are the original engine bay layout. And I'm literally gonna look at them because it looks pretty simple in here. Like you look in here and you're like, dude, there is not a lot of stuff in there, but it doesn't look like there was ever a lot of stuff in there. So who really knows? Dude, that is mint. I can almost guarantee there's gonna be a lot of stuff like that, and it is not gonna go that smooth. But Brad just happened to have the exact amount of exhaust studs chilling in here, and we have the tap kit, or whatever you call this thing. I'm gonna call it a tapping kit. So I just drilled these things out, tapped them. We already have the studs, which is sweet. Of course, after I put this one on, there's one right here. It looks just a little bit different, and it's already mounted. So instead of messing with things, I'm just gonna rip this one back off, mount that up. But we're making pretty good progress. It's taking a lot, obviously longer than I would like it to, but the studs and everything in, I got all the hardware in, bolted up underneath, which was a huge pain. I drilled out the exhaust pipe right after it because the studs I used were just a little bit bigger than the stock ones, so they didn't want to go through there. Ooh, that was tight. So I'm just gonna slap one of these guys on there for now, because that's all that this thing came with. So we need 3 M8 by 1 nuts. We brought pizza. Oh, did you buy a pizza?
I was already like halfway here when I called you.
Bruh. I thought you were gonna just bring one from home.
Oh, no.
Okay, well thanks. Ooh, it's thick.
5 minutes later.
I got the alternator up. We just got to throw a belt on here. Distributors bolted in. This took forever because like the little push clips are the hugest pain. You know what's weird? Look at the VIN plate. It says Adam, right?
750 kilograms.
Like the guy, Opel's name, I guess his full name is
Opel.
Adam Opel, and he put his name in the car. Like, what a
flex.
scumbag, you know? You want to just like grab a section and start doing some stuff, or what do you want to do? Because
Seen a lot of ports and not a lot of hoses for these ports.
yeah, so the problem with this is that I got a bunch of photos like this, and they were all taken after like it was half assembled. So it's a good reference, but it's also not, you know?
Yeah.
I think that side from the photos I could see is mainly done. We just need to hose everything up, like plumb it all.
But I'm just confused to where the hoses are going because
Yeah.
I don't see a whole lot of stuff.
Well, we gotta put the rad and stuff in there. You wanna do that? Fan and all that jazz is in here. I moved it. Here is some fanny goodness. And then the heater core was in the trunk, right? So that means the rad is somewhere. Like, I don't know why we got this. The car has all of its lights, and we got like 100 lights in this box.
Figure out how to put it in a 240.
Ooh, that'd be dope. Put it in these. Nothing. Well, everything's tiny, dude. You never know where you're gonna find a rad. You know what people hate when we say rad?
What is it called?
Radiator. They say, Robbie,
yeah.
you sound stupid when you say rad. You need to say radiator. They comment that all the time in every video.
Your name's Robbie, I call you Rob. I don't, but like, who cares?
These guys care.
Yeah, you guys are wrong.
Okay, we don't have a rad, so that's great. We gotta figure that one out. Arose, where the cable doesn't move. I think it's just because it's jammed. Give that a good pull, and don't punch me in the face.
Why does it do that?
I don't know. It feels definitely jammed though, right? Dude, I'm pulling the bracket. Okay. How do you unseize a seized hood latch? This is something we don't normally have to unseize.
Let's bring it to the vice, where all the unseizing happens.
Now we're gonna use this liquid wrench,
That unseizes your coilovers.
and we're just gonna use enough for a car that hasn't really moved in about 100 years. And then, you know what they say, can't be seized if it's a liquid. That's the next step. Maybe if we just do that, spread the cheeks a little bit.
Yeah, the cheeks look a little tight.
We've torn the cheekage. God, of all the times to get water, it's when I get it. I use the technique, you know, you ever hit something from like a triangle point of view? Where you just, it's like stuck and you hit it from 3 different angles and eventually it just comes loose? I gave it a little Scotch-Brite because I know that you love that. Look at that. I literally hammered it once from here, and then once from here, and then I just went BAM and punched it and it went.
Can you pass them up to me here, man? He's sticking. It's not pulling enough. You gotta pull that thing to Nebraska.
I feel like this is not a priority in getting the car running.
No.
So hood latch is on, doing that, use it. All right, so what did you do with those wiring while I was doing all this stuff? Did you explain this to them yet?
No, I haven't. So I just made a full list of what wires we have, and then I made a list of where they go. So just so I can like bunch them up and then put them through that hole, which is right
there, the big one?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna send all of these wires. So I wrote it, all the wires that need to go to the front, all the wires that stay in, and all the wires that go to the back. So I'm just gonna zip tie up all of these wires, bring it up into this area, and then I can start wiring up the engine bay. And then these ones I'm just gonna bunch up in there and leave them inside.
Nice.
And just make it look neat.
Yeah.
Until we start doing all that.
And then this, I put this as like the heater core. This is this weirdest thing. This is literally just like a little radiator that sits in there.
Yeah.
And coolant from the radiator goes through here and then back out, and then the fan just blows heat into the car.
Where are the hoses for this?
Right here. And there's another port up there. But yeah, super basic with this thing, but it's cool, it's installed. This looks really good. What's weird is that these fan power, okay, so the fan's gonna be over there. And then this is what? Headlight power barely reaches. One's for the distributor, one's for the alternator. Anyways, the moral of the story is look how big the rest is, and they have to go here and there and there. So why are the ones that are closer 3 feet longer?
I have no idea. It's weird.
It's a very weird wiring harness. I mean, what are you gonna do? It is all here, which is
Exactly.
important. So I think that's where we're gonna call it for today. We didn't do a whole lot, but we did a lot at the same time. It's just like when you're doing something that you didn't take apart and you've never seen before. Like this car literally showed up. I had no idea what an Opel Manta was. Never done any work on it. I had never taken anything apart. So the fact that we're putting it all back together, even at just the rate we are, to me is impressive, which is good. So we got to pick up a few things. This is nice and wired. Thank you for doing that. And then tomorrow you can do the wiring inside and to the hatch or whatever, and then we can start cleaning up the inside also. And then all we got to do now is just figure out where all these go. Tomorrow I want to keep going. I want to put this mounting plate on. I want to put the axle on, or sorry, the drive shaft on. I want to get the gas tank mounted up. I want to get it pretty much ready to the point where we could start it once we get that rad.
Exactly. Like the next few days it's gonna go a lot better. Like for me, it's my first time working on it, so like I want to understand it a bit more.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, you don't want to just start firing shots in the dark and give it to Derek's father-in-law, and
Yeah.
he's like driving down the road.
The gas tank explodes or something. You're like, oh.
Just kind of tucked all these bins up while Brad was doing this thing. Make room to pull Jenny in. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are excited about this Opel. I'm really excited to get it fired up. Don't do that. I'm excited to get this thing started. Once it starts, I feel like the rest is a breeze. You know? Don't fake throw pointy things at me. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and stay committed.